Hi, Juan.
Recording in progress. Good afternoon, Fresno.
Hello, Juan. You're in Albuquerque?
I am in Albuquerque.
Cool.
How are you today? How was your weekend?
Um, Good. Although Pam, my wife, is visiting her sister for the week, and she's up in Nevada City. So, she's left me all alone here, and
All alone, yeah.
it's been a little different. I enjoy the quiet, but I miss her. Um,
Yeah.
So let me bring you up to date a little bit. Um, I just got an email from Eduardo. He's in Barcelona.
Nice.
It's about midnight there.
Yes.
So he won't be able to join us. Like I
Yes.
said, Pam is in Nevada City, probably riding horses with her sister. Michael is in San Francisco, um, and he said that he probably would not be able to join us, but he might. He's got a project translating. Oh, there's Michael right there. He's got a project where he translates Japanese uh, to English or English to Japanese, um, and that keeps him really busy this time of the year.
Oh, I see.
Really, really glad that he's able to join us. I am
Nice.
recording the meeting so that both Eduardo and Pam will be able to hear what we said.
Nice.
Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Good day.
um, let me start off by asking you, Juan, did you get a chance to read the job description?
Yeah.
Did you have any questions?
Well, of course, it's part of what I wanted to share with you from the beginning. Um, yeah, all of these um, points, right, are what an editor should do, of course. But I have a question. It's basically on my legal situation. So I don't know if you, as a newspaper, are open to sponsor like someone like me who is a citizen of Mexico, and that would be for a full-time job as an editor. But if there is not that possibility, so that's why I share with you that it would be an interesting part to explore another ways to collaborate with you.
Could I ask you what your legal status is right now?
My legal status right now, I am a PhD student, so therefore I have an academic visa,
Ah,
right? So as I shared with you the first time you called me, it's about that. And yeah, I know it's a little bit um, I would say quite quick in terms of that you are trying to bring someone in the position, right? Um, so this is basically my situation, and this is what I would like to share with you. So
this is a very difficult time for immigrants, and with the Trump administration, they're not very supportive of
Yeah,
um, people who have requests for legal status. Um, and we just had a situation with our neighbors who are from Nicaragua. We sponsored them. There's three, a mom, her son who's 16, and daughter who's 21.
yeah.
It costs us probably tens of thousands of dollars to
Mm,
get them an attorney, and they are now here legally. But my fear is that once you know they they've um, supplied all the information about where they live, who they are, that will be a way for the Trump administration to um, deport them. That yeah, it's not it wouldn't be the first time that happened to somebody. But okay, so we understand that uh, you have some challenges around immigration, that you're here on a student visa, which is great. But if you took the job with us, we'd have to change the status.
that's right, huh? Hmm.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go from there. We'll make a note of that. And then I want to talk about a few other things. As as I've talked to Michael and um, Pam and Eduardo, it's become obvious to me that the person who takes this job is going to have to live in Fresno or very close.
Yeah.
If you were to get the job, would you be able to relocate to Fresno or Sanger?
Yeah, that's what it, it needs, of course. That's
Okay. So tell me, Juan, why do you want to be the editor of the Community Alliance newspaper?
well, I think well, first of all, I need to be honest and say that I think you and I spoke a year ago in Fresno downtown, and that's where we shared some time, and you were asking me whether would be a possibility since Eduardo was sharing with you guys that he would be leaving Community Alliance. So to be honest with you, a year ago, I just thought it was going to be just impossible to do that because also my legal status, and then that you were going to find someone within the national scope. So I have found always the Community Alliance, a newspaper that has been reaching the people that I met first. I would say, and I will share with you guys that I met workers down there in the San Joaquin Valley before I met the Community Alliance newspaper. And so I could certify that your newspaper is reaching the people in neighborhoods as well as in the fields where I have a number of friends and people that I know throughout the years. But then it got me by surprise that you called me Michael and saying, well, it seems like it is time for Eduardo move on and to leave the position. So, as I was sharing with you very sincerely, yes, I'm teaching here history of Mexico and Southwest United States. So, in a way, of course, the Community Alliance has been important in terms for me to develop more my editing skills on journalism. Of course, approaching to news locally, nationally, and internationally, as I've been doing for the last, I would say, 7 years, you know, that I've been doing journalism more strongly in South America. So to me, it's a great opportunity to keep reaching that people, keep reaching that people, keep reaching the goals of free speech, the goals of freedom, the goals of bringing critical articles and all what is connected to journalism to the people that really need that. So I'm in between that, in between that, willing to collaborate with you, but on the other hand, this sponsorship situation, I know it's kind of big, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity to meet you guys again on Zoom, although we have done it before. But I'm open to see possibilities.
So let me ask you this one. Have you ever been an editor of a newspaper before?
I have collaborated in a magazine which is part of La Jornada newspaper, which is called Hojarasca.
Hmm.
Hojarasca is a magazine um, that we publish every month, and it's about indigenous peoples of Mexico and the American continent. So yes, I've been collaborating, not formally as a worker, full-time job right there, but yeah, for a number of years I've been collaborating with them. Sometimes really in person, being there inside of the La Jornada newspaper, and most of the time also doing work on the ground. That's actually my experience on that.
Michael, do you have any questions?
Um, what would you be interested? What direction would you like to see the paper go?
What direction?
Yes.
I I think that the direction of the Community Alliance newspaper has been stable for a number of years. I believe um, that reaching the people in the fields of the San Joaquin Valley and the people who are actually working in factories in the fields, that's the direction that a local newspaper like the Community Alliance is supposed to take. Not only that, but also nowadays with the social movements such as the the, the No Kings movement, as well as the um, Freedom in Palestine movement, I believe you guys have been tracking the direction of the newspaper in that direction of listening to those movements. Um, this is what I have read in the last year, the last year in which we have facing these uh, new movements, in the United States. So I believe that's that's direction that you guys are already taking the all the journalism work with you, and then I believe that's where it has to go.
Just to expand on Michael's question a little bit, where would you see the Community Alliance in 5 years? Um, some of the possibilities that I see are uh, increasing circulation in the rural areas, reaching monolingual Spanish-speaking people. You know, getting grants, possibly to do exactly that. Um, Another direction we could go in is to expand our social media and get more information out to younger people through Instagram, TikTok, what have you. That's kind of where a lot of young people get their news these days. So
Yeah.
the question I have, which is a follow-up to Michael's, is where would you see the Community Alliance in 5 years? Still publishing a newspaper and reaching out in rural areas? Um, would you see us um, moving more in the direction of social media, reaching out to more young people? And how would you fund that?
I think all of that is something that is needed nowadays for a news outlet. And to be honest with you, I have a comment just I think it was last week of one of my students that she would get all the information of the social movements in TikTok.
Mhm.
So not even Instagram, but TikTok. It's a place in which the small videos are bringing some information to young generations. So I'm talking about a student of 21 years old who is engaging into their first experiences on collective, not only learning, but also just sharing the social field with their their colleagues. So I believe that yeah, social media it's very important nowadays with the young generations. That's definitely what I see because they don't read, they don't watch regular regular TV, regular newspapers, not even in paper. Although we have um, every day we have the New York Times, they don't reach to them. They're too busy, either studying, either having one or two jobs. So I know young generations nowadays. I think in 5 years, TikTok, Instagram, of course, you have Facebook. They need to be reinforced in order to bring these generations to the topics of what Community Alliance um, is presenting, right? That's on one hand, and then the other aspect of it is what you have developed in the past to survive, as I understand it, and it's the fundraiser, um, grants, fundraiser, possibility to collaborate with other outlets, not only English speaking, but Spanish speaking outlets. and on the same page, journalist. So there's still a lot of potential, and the potential that I see it is through these generations.
Michael, you have another question?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. Um, Juan, what would you see as your strengths and weaknesses if you became editor of the Community Alliance?
I think one of my passions on journalism is to approach um, a lot of that groundwork that always is the main source of journalism. Um, as you might remember, when we met in this short presentation that I did in Fresno about my work in Chile during the uprising in 2018 to, sorry, 2019 to 2020, which was the Chilean revolt that told us again that the main source of journalism is on the streets. So I believe that this is my passion on reporting from the streets, from the communities, from the reality. This is what I love. So it's actually what I would promote with journalists, promote with colleagues, and and then provide the ways in which we can reach that, provide the ways in which we can create an atmosphere right there at the editing table in which we are able to share also different views collectively. And talking about your the second aspect of what I don't feel very comfortable with by editing from a base place like an office or so on. I would say that there are many challenges in which I can take um, take part of, like translation part of articles, the editing of articles. I know there is a lot of work to do um, at the office, right? And that would be more challenging for me, as I shared with you that I've been a journalist and political scientist for all these years, but not actually being part of a full-time job team, which you are working in the office. You know what I mean? So that would be more challenging for me, but it would be also very productive for me.
So, part of the job is going to be taking in articles that people submit. Sometimes we don't even know they're coming. Other times, the writer will reach out to the editor and say, "Hey, I have an idea about an article that would be about this or that," and so it'd be your job to work with that writer and guide them to write the article we would like to see in the paper. In other
Yeah,
words, somebody has an idea they want to write about. I'll just pick an example. So there's a hospital in downtown Fresno that's been siphoning money that they get from the county to Clovis. Clovis is a very wealthy, relatively wealthy area. And
Yeah,
downtown hospital um, services, a much less affluent group. They're sort of the hospital or the doctor of last choice. So if somebody were to call you and talk to you about writing that article, you would need to know some of the nuances of the community and how to talk to the editor about how to talk to the writer about what you want. And are you comfortable with that?
yeah, yeah. I think that's part of the duty.
Yeah, and it happens a lot. Um, we cover a lot of different areas. There's, water pollution, there's um, environmental justice stories, and you would have to talk to those people who are writing the articles about giving them some guidance.
Yeah,
Also, when the article does come in, you're going to need to read every article and if needed, give feedback to the writer about
yeah.
how to improve that. Do you have any concerns about being able to do that?
Oh, yeah. I think that's totally needed to align paper's vision with some sorts of articles that sometimes we need to place them in a good shape, not only in well-written language, but also politically sometimes. Um,
Juan,
so,
in your own words, what would you say the mission or the purpose of the Community Alliance is?
as I have seen throughout the years, is to give voice to social movements, give voice of people that are reaching freedom, freedom in their all all what they do, whether they are workers, whether they are in, in activism, whether they are other types of journalists, even, So you have been a fundamental voice of the San Joaquin Valley, and then as I told you, I first I met the people in the fields, and then next to that, I met the Community Alliance newspaper.
Mhm.
I didn't meet Michael first or Eduardo first, but I met the Community Alliance right there on the fields in the San Joaquin Valley, right there in Sanger.
Mhm.
Uh, to me, it was wow, there is a newspaper right here, which is half in Spanish, half in English, that is providing information right here in front of the fields with my Mexican friends right here. And this is part of the reason of a newspaper to reach those nectarine fields and the people over there. And in a way, the Community Alliance is being a voice of other social movements, not only in the San Joaquin Valley, but national and internationally.
We are pretty unique. There's very few papers in the United States that are like us, that are progressive and independent. And we try to give a voice to people who are in struggle. And we're more than just, news about this happening or that happening. We have a purpose, which is to build a movement for social change. Um, so
Yeah.
let me ask you this. If you're working with somebody on, say, water issues in the valley where they don't have drinkable water. Uh, would your choice be to get somebody from that community to write an article, or would you want to have somebody write the article about what's happening? What would be your first choice?
Okay, I would have to see what colleagues, what kind of journalists we have for that purpose. But I know from my experience that a lot of activists and members of the community in those situations,
Mhm.
there is there is a good chance that we can find someone within the community that can be able to explain in an article what's happening.
Mhm.
So I believe that members of the communities who are linked with activism, or even those activists in the community, are very special source, very important source. So my recommendation would be, yes, we can find someone within the community to write for us
Mhm.
because they all know in detail
Mhm.
what has been happening right there.
Okay, Michael, do you have anything else?
I'm good.
Okay, just um, one last question on this interview. Um, and that is, if we selected you as our candidate to be the next editor, when would you be able to start?
This is a little bit hard to respond because I haven't heard anything from you. If you might be willing to sponsor my my legal status, because I need a full-time job person that live right there in California, in Fresno and the surroundings. This would be a complete change. So, as I was also surprised because of your call last week,
Mhm.
I am right here in Albuquerque as I'm teaching students and doing my academic job. But I was also hoping to explore with you guys whether you might also have another way to collaborate with you in editing stuff.
Mhm.
As you have pointed out that you really need someone who lives there, so I would just have to rearrange my life totally. But most of what it's needed is like a clear idea about the legal status, because otherwise, I don't know what kind of hiring you would do with citizens from other countries.
Okay. Um, I guess what we'll do is leave it there for the interview on the job. I do have another question I'd like to ask you about. And that is that we got contacted, and tell me how you would respond to this too, which would kind of give some insight into um, your role as editor. We had a letter from this company that checks on copyrights, and they say that we've used photos from AP, Reuters, Agence France, um, and that we did not get a license. What are your thoughts about there? And they want to charge us like thousands of dollars, you know, in total for maybe 8 or 9 pictures that they say that we did not have a license for. They want to charge us 8,000 and some dollars.
Hmm.
One of the pictures is one that ran with an article that you wrote. And it was, you said it, I don't know, maybe Eduardo found it. I don't know. But it was your article and it had a picture from indie media, I think in Argentina, maybe Chile. But what are your thoughts about how to respond to a company that's making that kind of a claim? And do you know anything about that picture?
No, I didn't know about that picture. I was, yeah, at that time I reported from Chile and Bolivia, but then, um, well, I believe that, yeah, there are certain legal issues with rights.
Well,
Um,
how do you know how to get a license for a photo from AP or Reuters?
be honest, no, no.
Yeah,
But I
because
think that
we're
I think that
facing,
we,
a huge hill to climb um, because none of us are experts on copyright law.
yeah,
Peter and I were looking at one of the photos, which, right as part of the caption, this isn't the picture I was talking to you about that was with your story, but it was with a different story. Uh, and it said photo by Peter Maiden. But this company is claiming that I believe it's a piece, AP photo. So
mm,
um, we're probably going to have to get an attorney to sort this out.
mhm.
And there are
Well,
not a lot of attorneys that focus on copyright issues.
yeah. Um, I believe here in the United States, this is more strict. I believe that, yeah, copyrights and the big corporate companies are focusing on the rights. You know, when you publish something, um, my approach with that would be always to have evidence of whether a photograph was really coming from the source and a way to, of course, avoid that complaint that a company might have. As far as I know, what I sent to you guys, for example, was all my photograph work. And as I said, that's why being there on the ground is what brings the truth and brings a really original work. I don't know how any other way of doing journalism without
Let me
being on the
send you that picture um, that went with your story. And if you took it, that would be great. But it does credit indie media for the photo. So there must be an indie media in Chile or Argentina. And it could be that Eduardo just went to see a, if he could find a picture that connected with the article you wrote, or if you sent him that photo, that would be really good to know.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, do you have any other questions of us?
Well, basically that, just also to say, um, would you would you be able to sponsor someone like me on the
Well,
legal?
anything's possible.
Okay,
It's a matter of how much work that would be, how much money it would cost, that sort of
okay,
thing. So
okay.
when we get to the point of hiring someone, and if that someone is you, then that'll be an issue that we'll have to explore in more depth.
That sounds good. One
Okay.
more thing.
Yes.
One more thing. Even if you decide something else,
Mhm.
just to share with you that I'm also open to contribute to the community alliance in other ways.
What did you have in mind?
I was thinking would be to contribute from Albuquerque to to write some articles for you guys,
Okay.
to maybe do some editing work
Hmm.
for you guys.
Spanish language section.
For example, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Juan, thank you for your time,
Thank
and
you.
Thank
we'll
you.
be in touch.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to Michael just a little bit after you get off.
All right then. Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye. Thank you, Michael.
All right. Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Well, I'm glad you could make it. I did record this so that I could show it to Pam and Eduardo. What's your thought?
Well, there's a lot of pieces that would have to fall into place to make it doable.
Right.
Um, so it's certainly not option number one.
Right. It's, we're going to have to interview a number of people, and nobody's going to be perfect. But, you know, I think that there are a lot of challenges with Juan, just the distance, from Albuquerque, and hoops that we would have to jump through to get him uh, his legal status changed.
Hmm.
Not a good, not a good time for doing that sort of thing, given the current climate with immigrants. So I don't even know if that could be done. He seems to have a visa that works for him right now, but could we change that to a um, permit based on his full-time employment? Could he survive on what we could afford to pay him? I mean, those are things I didn't really want to get into with him,
Hmm.
but we will check out other possibilities, and um, I suspect he's not going to be our choice.
Hmm.
Um, do you want me to bring you up to speed on who else I've talked to about this?
Okay.
Try to make it brief. I talked to Jim Boren out of Fresno State. He used to write, and he was an editor for the Fresno Bee, and now he's out at Fresno State. His focus is on training young journalists who are at Fresno State. And, I just had a brief conversation with Jim, but he said he thought he could find us somebody that would be, close to ideal. Uh,
Hmm.
and, I sent him the job description, and, he's talking to other people right now.
Hmm.
about this. So, I mean, the stumbling block is going to be our ability to pay some younger person a higher salary than what we're able to. So, I'll let you know how that progresses. I've tried calling Mark Arax a couple of times. Um, no response. Usually he's pretty good at responding to me, but he may be traveling or something. I don't know, but he hasn't gotten back to me. There's Peter. Um, Pam really doesn't want Peter to be the editor. Um, I find it interesting that Eduardo recommended him. And I get the sense that you're not too excited about him as the editor.
There's, I mean, there's some things that he could do well, but he's the wrong person at this time for what we need. And
And
there's a lot of things he can't do.
yeah, what's the main thing you think he can't do?
Um, be the public face of the organization.
Yeah, I think that he would have a hard time doing that. Um, any other lines on people to be editor? Nothing that I could think of. Um, and given what you said that you can't do anything until December, I'm inclined just to completely back off. And, I mean, I'll hear what Jim has to say. And I already sent Eduardo a copy of the job description. Not
Hmm.
Eduardo, I mean Peter. And we do need somebody who is able to concentrate on the job search. If I'm not going to do it, Eduardo's not going to do it. Peter can't do it. Um, it might have to wait until somebody steps forward to lead the job search. If that happens, are you and Peter going to be able to continue doing the paper in December?
Yeah, I've pretty much factored that in.
Okay, so you're kind of assuming that that's what will happen.
Hmm.
Um, okay, then I'll just back off. I won't continue to call Mark Arax. And when Jim gets back to me, I'll take the information and pass it on to you.
Sounds good.
Okay. Peter wanted me to let him know where things were at on this job search. I will, you know, tell him what I know. And he wants to be interviewed, I think, on Monday. Do you want to do that with me?
Uh, Probably, but only if Pam can do this Arts Council thing.
What Arts Council?
I forwarded you the email they sent. They say it's required. Let me see.
When did you send that?
During our meeting.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but
It's Monday at 10 or Tuesday at 4.
okay. Well, she'll get back Friday afternoon. I'll talk to her about it. And I'm kind of inclined to interview Peter since, there's a certain amount of momentum going right now. We could
Hmm.
do it at the staff meeting, uh, after the staff meeting. Oh, do you want to have a staff meeting on Monday?
Gotta do the fundraising thing. Um, yeah, there's probably no need to.
Okay, then if that's the case, then we could just interview Peter instead of having a staff meeting.
Hmm.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah,
What do you think about the questions I asked?
they were pretty good. The only thing I would suggest is when you ask about the future outlook,
Mhm.
don't put anything on the table.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I felt like, he goes, yeah, all those.
Right,
Like, damn. I didn't know what he would, if he would understand what I was asking him, if I didn't give him some idea of that. But you're right. I've immediately realized that I should not have spoken for him and told him what I was thinking. I, I won't do that with Peter. Peter should intuitively know those things anyway.
right.
Okay, Michael, anything else you want to talk about?
I'm good.
Okay,
All right.
we will
Thank you.
talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.